So DeAndre Hopkins just got released by the Arizona Cardinals. My thoughts on this, obviously, to you know, to obviously take care of cap space. I think for Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Next year in the draft. Um, but you know, honestly, where does he make the most sense? I think he makes the most sense in Atlanta. I think Atlanta missed out on the opportunity to draft a wide receiver in the draft, which they really needed. I will see some backlash for that, but I think they really need a wide receiver in the draft, and they didn't get one. Now, a lot of people were saying maybe I hated the Bijan Robinson pick. I did not. I did not. Bijan is a great pick. But we got Tyler Algier, we got Corey Patterson, and we got Tyler Huntley. So they didn't need a wide receiver. They didn't need a running back in the first round. I think they could have went to maybe they could have selected one in the second or third round. But I think what they really need was a wide receiver, and I think that even though they missed out on it in the draft. I think they can, sign DeAndre Hopkins, and that can all work itself out. But Evan, my question to you is DeAndre Hopkins gas? And what's your projections for where he lands?
Yeah, so first of all, I like how you refer to the Falcons as we now. That's pretty cool. We'll have to tell your
Hey,
Miami
I live
friends
in
about that.
Atlanta, don't I?
True, true. No, I don't think he's gonna go to the Falcons. I think he's gonna go to contender, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Is he gas? This is tough. This is
Oh, you
really
don't
tough.
think the Falcons are a contender? Oh,
I do not to the contender of level of teams I'm about to mention, but
okay.
so is he gassed? I go back and forth because if you look at the numbers, by the numbers, the last full season he played in 2020, because he had the injury at the end of 2021, and then he couldn't play at the beginning of 2022 because of the performance enhancement, right? He missed time in both of
Right.
those seasons because of that. So the last full season he played in 2021, he still put up 1,400 yards, right?
Oh, yeah, but that's because he gets catches. He gets targets.
Yes, okay, that's another thing too. DeAndre Hopkins, I think I read the stat that at 700 targets, he was the fastest player to ever get to it. So yes, or
Yeah,
catches target, same thing, but he was the fastest ever to get to that point. So it's by the numbers, it's tough to say that he's washed. But if you look beyond that, beyond, this is now going to be his 11th year in the league. This is going to be the knee. We saw the same thing with Julio. We've seen the same thing with other longtime receivers. They go somewhere else, and then they kind of disappear, right? We've seen this over and over. So with DeAndre Hopkins, he hasn't actually shown that he's gassed yet, but I would not be surprised if he showed it in a big way this year. Now where
yeah.
is he going to land? The Atlanta I'm talking Super Bowl contender at this point because DeAndre Hopkins was with the Texans, who are a good team. They were not a Super Bowl team. He was with the Cardinals, who at some points, not all the time, were a good team. They were never a Super Bowl contender. So now it's time to go to the contender. One team I've heard that's apparently the odds-on favorite to get him is Buffalo. But to me, Buffalo doesn't make a lot of sense because they already have Stephon Diggs. Well, yes,
And Gabe
Evan,
Davis.
hang on just a second. Evan, well, yeah, Gabe Davis too. That's actually an
And
important
they
point.
just
Yeah.
drafted Don Kincaid.
Yes, that's true. So they have body. Yeah, Gabe Davis is a big body. He's pretty much like a tight end. That's a good point by Jake. And you got Dalton Kincaid. But my point is Evan, wasn't your whole argument right there that DeAndre Hopkins might be watched? So wouldn't it make sense to go beyond Stephon Diggs? Well, Jake brought up a good point that DeAndre Hopkins is going to take a lot of catches. So you want those catches to go to Diggs, right? And I think
Yeah.
I don't think Buffalo. I think Buffalo likes the system they have right now. I don't think it's a great spot. To me, this reads Kansas City Chiefs. This reads Kansas City Chiefs all over to it. They've done it with Juju. They've done it with tons of other veteran receivers. To me, again, you could see like a Falcons. You could see like a Raiders, who like to sign, players towards the end, right? Maybe a Cowboys. To me, this reads the Kansas City Chiefs because the Kansas City Chiefs every year are a threat to win a ring. They will say, hey, Hopkins, you already made a lot of money in your career. You might get a little less of a salary, but you'll probably be playing in a Super Bowl. I mean, that's almost a guarantee with the Chiefs. So they've
All
made
right, I mean,
like the last 3 or 4 Super Bowls, right? To me, this
yeah,
reads Kansas City, so I will go with that as my final prediction. You're sticking with the Falcons?
I'm sticking with the Atlanta Falcons.
We'll see how it goes. And one more team I think we should throw out there, the Houston Texans, where he's originally from. Maybe he's a sucker for that kind of story instead, which I would have tons of respect for, by the way, because he got traded away for
I
David.
I think the Houston Texans are a possibility only because Bill O'Brien is not there anymore. He did not like playing with Bill O'Brien, so he would not go. Bill O'Brien gets a if Bill O'Brien gets another job in the NFL, he will not go where Bill O'Brien is.
Yeah. I think that too. I think with Hopkins, he could be a sucker for that story. I don't think so. I think
Oh
he's
yeah,
much more likely to go to a contender. But I think that with that story, he could come back to Houston. That's the only really kind of other alternative I see if he wants to close out his career in Houston. And I have tons of respect for that if he did.